I'd like to share a quick story about me and when I first decided that I wanted to get clean. Uh, I had had enough, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to a doctor's office, and I'm just gonna start asking for help, and hopefully somebody's gonna help me. And so I went to the doctor's office, and after speaking with my doctor, he directed me to the Northern Health Unit in our small town and gave me a pamphlet. I went over to the Northern Health Unit where they gave me a phone number for a Narcotics Anonymous meeting that was supposedly being held in our town. When I called that number, the gentleman informed me that they hadn't been running Narcotics Anonymous in my town for quite a few years. So that was not an option for me. They booked an appointment for me to see a counselor for 3 months down the road, so that wasn't about to help me. I called the closest um, rehab clinic or recovery center where you just it's not a walk-in. It's when a bed becomes available, they will call you, and then you make your way to the center, and you can stay there to clean up for 7 to 14 days. But again, that's 100 kilometers away, and it was a week and a half before I received my phone call, at which point I was back into heavily using again and ignored the call. Um, but so it took all the courage that I could muster to go out there that day and look for help and be vulnerable, and it was emotional. And the lady at the front desk actually at Northern Health, she did everything she could to help, and she felt for me, and you could tell that she was genuinely concerned, and she could see that I genuinely was tired of my situation and was ready to make a change in my life. However, at the end of that day, I received zero help. I received anything that I was looking for that day. I did not find, and I went home very depressed, and ended up. And again, so big excuse, right? I ended up using because there's always a because, but actually, I ended up using because I was going to withdrawal and I didn't want to feel sick, so. That's why I used again, and that's why I continued to use until finally I met a doctor, Dr. Khan, and it happened awesome. Boom, boom, boom. So I go in, I have an appointment with her. She writes me a prescription for Suboxone. I go down to the pharmacist. I pick up my prescription for the Suboxone. I go home. I detox for 24 hours. I cheated. I only did 12. I then take my prescription with me up to the hospital where they monitor me while I take my first 2 milligram dose. I then go back to the hospital every 2 hours to take an additional 2 milligram dose until I start feeling comfortable and stop withdrawing. So I'd say by about the 6th hour, at that point I'm taking 6 milligrams, or sorry, by the third hour I was taking 6 million or whatever. No, by the third trip up there. So that's a 6 hour. Anyways, uh, it wasn't until I hit about 10 milligrams that I started to feel comfortable and wasn't withdrawing and felt good. Um, and then I was in a vehicle accident. They were giving me morphine instead of Suboxone, and the morphine wasn't working because the naloxone in the Suboxone. When they finally realized 24 hours later that what they were giving me wasn't working, they finally asked me, and I told them I was on Suboxone, and they then cut off the heroin and started giving me Suboxone, and then all of a sudden I was pain-free and withdrawal-free. But the whole point is that in small communities, there isn't always the services available for the people that are looking for help. I was fortunate and had a very strong support group, being my wife and my 2 children, and I was determined not to lose them, and I would have if I would have continued to keep using. So I had that in my corner, and I used that as my strength to start the process basically by myself, and with a very minimal help, managed to find a doctor, learn about Suboxone, start the Suboxone program, and then start learning to live drug-free. There's, again, no Narcotics Anonymous or anything here, so I'm not in any type of 12-step program. I have zero people to talk to. And you have to be very careful of who you start talking to about your recovery. A lot of people don't want to hear it, and it makes it frustrating. And you have to learn how to take that rejection, not let it bother you, and just learn who to talk to about it and who not to talk to about it. Because there's definitely going to be people that you can't talk to about it. They just don't want to hear it. So I would like to work with Northern Health and get Narcotics Anonymous back in Vanderhoof and set up some sort of program. I mean, I know it that I need to talk to people. I need a place where I can go to talk to like-minded people, people that are going through the very same thing that I am. I don't have that, and I feel as though I desperately need that, and I think I'd really benefit from it. So, um, yeah, I mean, I do have actually, I'm going to be speaking with Northern Health soon. It was actually through my doctor. She invited me to come and help maybe try to structure some sort of recovery program. And I'm really looking forward to being able to be a part of something like that.